So, Gavin Felst. Let's get this straight. It says here you're from a good home, good grades, good life. It says here you're a smart kid, actually. Valedictorian. Won a bunch of scholarships.
Is that all it says?
I'm sorry?
Is that all it says for my achievements? You're missing a few.
Am I? Like what?
IQ of 145, wrote my own book, 3-time chess national champion. Do you like chess, officer?
Is this your first offense, Gavin? Or just the first time getting caught? Alright. There's no rules that say you have to answer me. But, Gavin, unless a miracle happens, you are going to jail for a very long time.
You didn't answer my question, officer.
Detective, actually.
Oh, detective. How impressive. Well then, detective, do you like chess?
I've played before. But I'm not a man for games. Like the one you're playing with me. Right now.
No games. It's just how I look at life, detective. Now tell me, what piece are you?
I'm sorry?
Chess is a game with pieces, detective. Which piece are you?
Me? I don't know. I'll be a knight, I guess.
Of course, the knight, noble, official, guardian of law. Perfect for detective. And completely wrong, of course.
Wrong? I was under the impression that I was just sharing an opinion.
Misguided. Perhaps wrong was incorrect. But from my perspective, detective, you were still wrong. You see, a knight is an unusual and important piece, and there's nothing unusual about you. You're predictable, unimportant, and lawful.
What makes you think you know me?
An excellent question, Detective. Gold star for you. You see, Detective John Malkay, father of two, married to Alice Malkay, living at 21704 96th Avenue, a detective of the Riverview RCMP. In the 10 years of your service, you have done nothing of note. In fact, it was hard to find anything about you. You've risen through the ranks by simply being capable.
How do you know me? How do you know who I am?
You don't plan on being arrested, detective, without an in-depth knowledge of the police force beforehand. You see, there are 3 detectives at this facility. One of them has gout, and I was confident you weren't Detective Lopez.
Planned on being arrested? Alright. It doesn't matter. Do you have an alibi for the night of January 4th, 2011?
We weren't done, detective. Let's see. You're useless and predictable. Perhaps that makes you a pawn.
Are you insulting me?
Do you think I'd insult an officer of the law? No. It's just a statement of fact. Although you're right, you're not a pawn. From where I'm standing, sitting, rather, you seem more like the king. Although I guess it's just a matter of perspective.
Wow. King, huh? That's quite the compliment, don't you think?
How adorable. You think that's a compliment. Although the argument could be made that the king is the most important piece in the game, you have to remember it's also practically useless. And with all your knights and bishops off the board and your pawns all in a useless little row, that leaves the king. And his queen, of course.
Without his knight? What is that you're implying, Gavin?
It's been a while since you've seen any other officers working this case, hasn't it, Detective? At least a day.
Is that a threat?
I don't make threats, Detective. Threats are for bratty kids and men with something to prove. I make plans, and I carry them out.
And what are you, Gavin?
I don't know when you got the impression you were on a first-name basis, Detective.
Mr. Felst, what piece are you?
We aren't talking about me, Detective. We're talking about you, and I wasn't finished.
No, we are talking about you, Gavin, and you've forgotten that. And I'm done with your game. You're being held at the accusation of a triple homicide. I hope you realize how serious that is. Now, you said you wanted to make a statement. Well, that's fine, but at least do me the decency to answer my question. Now, what piece are you?
A knight.
Knights don't commit homicide.
Pawns are meant to be sacrificed, Detective, and don't be so naive. Knights have always committed homicide. It's what we knights do best.
Is that how you justify your actions?
What makes you think I need to justify my actions? Do you justify leaving your family at a time they might need you most? Or any time you pull your gun in the field?
Yeah, I do.
And yet I'm the one being accused of psychosis. It's a strange world we live in, isn't it, Detective?
I'll have to agree with you there. What are you going to tell me, Gavin? It's just you and me now. No games. Are you going to tell me why?
For the game, of course. Though I must say it was all a setup to meet you.
Listen, you little prick. I'm not here to play games. You want to make a statement? Make it. I'm leaving.
Just wait. One more minute, Detective. You said it was just you and me. That's not quite right. You still have your queen.
Who's my queen?
I'm sure she'd love to hear that. Actually, do you still have your queen? Because if it's past noon, you might not.
Did you? If you laid one hand on her.
Hands, Detective, I'm here. Look, hands are up. I'm just playing a game. You're not going to answer that, Detective? It might be your queen. It might be important.
Hello?